Okay, what is good, guys? We're back for another, part segment of user skills, user one-on-one, user drills, all that good stuff. So, in this drill, what we're going to be looking at is the initial hike, and something that you can do at the initial hike of the ball to help improve your defense, and that's going to be bumping. To bump wide receivers this year, what you need to do is hold RB or hold R1. Now, if you're in like a deep blue like this, and you're in a deep blue zone, you have to have good positioning. So that's the first thing. Anytime you're going to jam, first off, I would say just come out in two-man under. User that corner, and this is the first part of the drill. It's really, really simple. Just user the corner and hold RB as soon as they hike the ball. So literally, you could just hold RB here. Bam, we got our jam, basic jam, good stuff. That's all we wanted. And then again, you want to do this with all your guys. But the thing is, you have to be in the path of the wide receiver that on the route he's running. So, say Jones runs up a drag here, okay? And we just sit here and hold RB. As you see, Jones is just wide open. So you have to get in his path and then hit RB. Or you could come right up to him. And, yeah, we still get beat. Drags are hard to bump, but it's going to get to the idea I'm trying to get to here, which is you need to be in the path of the wide receiver that you're trying to bump, and you need to basically run into him. And if you miss, bad things can happen. This drag route is getting open every single time because we're missing on the bump. Certain routes you don't really want to bump. I wouldn't want to bump a drag, but, you can do it, as you can see there. The after result obviously didn't end well, but that goes into the next step. This is just the first part of it, just getting your jam down. You just want to be able to jam. Even if you're a two-man under, you can back your guy up a little bit, especially if you know he's on a streak. So that'd be the first route I would learn how to bump against is the streak. And the reason I say that, or the angle streak, any kind of streak really, is because it's the easiest route to bump. Because it goes downfield and he's going to run into you. So you can start back 5 yards. Make sure you got to hit him before 5 yards, though. So if you're starting at, we're at the 35 here, I need to hit him before he gets to the 40 or at the 40. After the 40, nothing good's going to happen. He's not going to jam. So you got to make sure you hit him 5 yards or earlier. So I can hit him at the 40. But as soon as we get to the 41, no bueno. 39, we're good to go. 35, 36, we're good. Just make sure we're not at the 41. We need to be at that 40 and hit them right at the 40. But as you can see, if you push it, sometimes you're going to miss. But for the most part, you're going to want to be right on their grill. Like, tight ends can't be jammed. But if you get up on them and you make the play yourself, you can go ahead and jam the tight end. So those guys that are unbumpable, they're in unbumpable formations, things like that, you can go ahead and make a play. And if you can do this with two controls, you can do this with two controls. We're going to go ahead and streak Pitta just to make this easier. But as you can see, even though we weren't looking at him, we still were able to bump him a little bit right there. We're going to go ahead and do a better job of that this time, hopefully. It's a little bit harder to do with two controllers, but I got a plan. I've got a plan. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the same thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get on defense, get set up, and then I'm just going to hike it with my pinky on the other control. So there you go. Now we can go ahead and make the play that we need to play. And then the next step of this is to stay with the guy. Whatever kind of route he's on, you need to stay with him. So after he makes his move, you got to stay on that route if you're in man defense. Now, this is the start to it. This is the first few steps. Now, another drill you can do is instead of using Zibikowski or whoever's guarding Pitta, go ahead and use another guy and jam him up. Spies sometimes don't work as well. Certain zones, certain things don't work as well. The easiest way to jam is if you put them in a man coverage on them. Sometimes you don't want to do that. but it definitely is going to create the easiest jam for you. So you can go ahead and use another guy that has no obligation to that guy and really stall him out, especially if they're taking advantage of that tight end because the tight end's been killing you. That's its first read. Especially if they're their first read, it's a great way to take away that first read or slow down that first read from getting open. So right here, we're gonna go ahead and run the spy. The spy isn't gonna work that well. You're going to want to do something different. But again, the man works. Also, if your guy is ever in a flat zone on top of a guy, he will bump him. So we can do that. Go ahead, sit there, sit on him. We see him on a streak. Go ahead and cover it up. So we can take advantage of that here. Go ahead. Bam. Hit him with the manual press. And then we can go back to our assignment, or we can do something else. So his responsibility is the quarterback. That is his first responsibility. His second responsibility is to help out in coverage. So, we come down, get our bump, kind of help out with the reads, and then we go back to the QB spy. That QB spy, you can do a lot of different things. You can lurk the field with them, especially if you don't have to respect the QB running. I can cover this out route, or, if you see something that looks usual, you can go ahead and cover that up. This is pretty much a money route that a lot of people loved to use last year. Was this 4 verticals or verticals route, and you go ahead and just throw that and it would get in. You can still do it this year. Just got to add a little twist to it, but if they're trying to run something like that. All right, this is getting ridiculous with this 3-man rush. That is just crazy. But as you can see here, that's one thing about Madden, I tell you, but not even gonna get frustrated. Practice mode is the most frustrating thing ever because the pass rush is so much better in practice than it is in the regular game. But so Vaughn just knew. He just knew. Okay, that's awesome. So as you can see here, sometimes if they block a guy, what'll happen is your guy will double team him. So once I block Rice, Vaughn, since he's so genius, he's going to go ahead and cover Pitta too, as you can see here, and that's going to make that pass that much more difficult to make. But you never know who he's going to cover. Sometimes, he'll cover the Bolden, he might cover Pitta. If there's another guy in the slot, he might double him or whatever. It really depends on the formation you're going against and which one of your guys is guarding the guy that they're blocking. Because if we block Pitta, let's just go see who Zbikowski guards. See, he went and guarded the slot guy. So that's kind of random. But hopefully that'll help you guys out as well. Because sometimes that'll create double teams. And offensively, if you're blocking a guy and they're playing a lot of man, and you're wondering why your one route that you were planning to throw to got double teamed, a lot of the time that is the reason. But again, the whole point of these drills here, and let's just go over them again, is just start on him and just press him. Again, it's R1 or RB depending on which system you're on. But you go ahead and hold that, and then the next step is to press him and then stay with him. Or you could do something like this. I don't recommend this as much in a real game, but for practice purposes, it's fine. Jam them up and then click off. But what's going to typically happen is you're going to end up on a lineman or something. So that's the only reason I wouldn't recommend that. But if you do want to end up on a lineman, and you kind of want to delay press or something like that, you could do this. Oh, missed him. Yeah, I can go back to doing this the way I was doing it before. That was working a lot better. So go ahead and drop back a few yards, jam them up, click off, and now you're on your DN. And you may want to be on him. You may drop back in coverage. You may rush the QB, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So there's a few things you could do there. And then again, the last thing, I wouldn't have them in a spy, but you can have them in a spy, but it's going to be a bit more difficult because when you're in a spy, you see that his initial step is going to be towards the middle of the field, and that's going to make it difficult. But if you go ahead and put him in a different zone or something, then you can go ahead and make a play. And if you're going to user a guy, you're going to user him. Unless you plan on clicking off, whatever you do with him, you're going to do. With spies, typically they'll move towards the center. But if you got them in like a hook zone or a flat or something, their initial step is going to be towards that zone, but you can cut it off faster. With the spy, it's a little bit difficult, a little bit more difficult to cut it off. But you can go ahead and, you know, freelance with another guy, bring him down and press. Let me see if we could jam Rice, actually. We might be able to get that press off. Go ahead, see if we can bump him a little bit. So, yeah, we were able to bump him a little bit. You know, it's not going to do nothing for us. But, again, you really just want to get the art of jamming down because it's an effective tool. You know, you can do it with the safety or whoever. And it definitely can help out, especially if you're taking away their first read, their primary read. So that is the next step in our usering. I believe this is our 4th video in the series. Be sure to check out the other ones. There will be some annotations. And yeah, get that jamming down, get that user bump down. Get it with the corners. Learn how to do it with another player. Get comfortable with it because it's definitely a skill that you can take advantage of and help to take away that first read. If you do enjoy this series, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more. This is your boy Monster Chappie. Till the next time, we out of here.